for it, you enjoyed your ride throughout the course of this season as well. Again, Alcaraz, 22 years old. He's number 2 in the rankings, 1 by ELO rating, 1 by yearly ELO. Most wins at 67-8, an 89% win percentage. 24-2 at the majors, 2 slam titles, second most wins. 44-3 against opponents ranked outside the top 20, but he was 23-5 against the top 20. That's the most wins. 13-3 against the top 10. Best win percentage, second most wins. He won titles, Roland Garros, U.S. Open, Monte Carlo, Rome, Cincy, Queens Club, Tokyo, Rotterdam. Also made 10 total finals in 15 events. The other finals, Wimbledon, Barcelona, 13 quarterfinals in 15 events. 6th by hold percentage, 2nd by break percentage. I mean, the most significant thing, though, is the reverse. He went 4-1 against Jannik Sinner. He overcame a match point deficit to beat him in the Roland Garros final. He overcame the trip up in the Wimbledon final and smacked him at both Cincinnati and the U.S. Open. Now, I know there was the illness related to Cincinnati, but still, 3rd Tour Finals appearance for him, but 4th consecutive year he's qualified. What brand of A do you have for the 22-year-old Alcaraz, DK?
Yeah. I mean, I think I give him an A++ because I think, yes, his year was it wasn't significantly better than Sinner, but for me, I think that U.S. Open run for me is really pivotal because it was the most interesting turn. You know, obviously the French Open was probably the match of the year, but the U.S. Open was very much like the one where you felt like, okay, Alcaraz can win again. He could beat on hard courts. He could beat Sinner on hard courts, and also is one that I really think shook Sinner the most because it was like I got to go back to the drawing board. It's like, girl, you just beat him like 2 months ago at Wimbledon. Like, you should you really be panicking that much? And I think it's a testament to the seismic shift that result represented for both of them. And I think it's really given Alcaraz a bit of a lift at this part of the season where he might not have been feeling as good. You know, I think if he didn't win that U.S. Open final, he probably would have tapered off a little bit, more extreme this fall. And I think it puts him in good stead to potentially win this first ATP finals, which would really be a new plateau in this rivalry between Alcaraz and Sinner, where I feel like maybe it was just about to the gap was narrowing just the slightest bit and maybe widening again coming into January, which is not where Sinner wants it to be, but it is a testament to just how talented and otherworldly, Carlos is when he's healthy and he's playing well. So again, 2 slams, got back to number 1, is in pole position to win this first ATP finals title. Maybe we reevaluate if Sinner, crushes Carlos or Alcaraz really flames out in the round robin stage. The week is young, but I don't see really either of those two things happening. So I think for him, it's really just an A++ season.
Yeah, there's indoor hardcore questions for Alcaraz. Bad loss for him against Nori in Paris, an event he's never been particularly excellent in. Yeah, I agree. And it's like that loss, the Goffin loss in Miami. Those are the weird ones for his season. And I guess he has more of, we talked about the 2 weird ones for Sinner as well. Alcaraz also had the loss to Fritz at Laver Cup. I was there for it. Taylor was awesome. In the moment, you could feel the intensity of the match as if, it mattered, even if it wasn't a tour-level event. And yet again,
Stream Laver Cup on Tennis Channel.
Yeah, exactly. Like the Australian Open loss to Djokovic in the quarters wasn't a great way to start his season, and that's a tournament he still has to figure out. But what's lost in all of this is that the guy is still just 22 years old. And it is a question of is this the best age 22 season we've ever seen?
He's Tate McRae's age.
Yeah, he's Nick Gruskin's age. He's younger than Nick Gruskin. I think by a year. By a year. That means nothing to you listeners, but it means a lot to me. 22 years old. Two more major titles picked up for him this season. To your point, again, beat Sinner on a hard court and is 4-1 against his biggest rival. And that, for him, is the thing that sets the standard of, is it a successful season or not, in a season where it's defined by the two of them. And again, they weren't playing in cupcake matches. He beats them Rome final, Roland Garros final, U.S. Open final, Cincinnati final doesn't really count.
How dare you?
He got him. Well, it's just because of the injury. Yeah. No, I'm explaining to the fans. I don't care.
Oh, the fans.
Yeah. Who forgets?
My fan knew.
Yeah. Exactly. I have him as my only A+. I just, again, he didn't disappear for any portion of the calendar. He was that good. If he doesn't get injured in Barcelona, I said this to you earlier in this year on the show, so apologies for repeating myself, but it would have been one of those Rafa Nadal 2006 didn't lose, like 2007 didn't lose. Like it would be one of those, well, I have to go back to 2025 didn't lose on the clay. Not that that's Alcaraz's accent. I don't know why I did Alcaraz in Nadal voice. But that was like, he was that good during the clay court season. To have the culmination be the match point overcome for him at Roland Garros, those are the magical moments. Those are the things he's already accumulated. What's he at now? 5 slam titles overall? 5 or 6, whatever it is. It might be 6. 2 U.S. Open, 2 French 6. Open, 2 Wimbledon. Yeah, I think it's 6. A+. He's my lone A+. Slight notch over Sinner. Although, again, if Sinner edges him out for world number 1, do I shift Sinner up a third of a letter grade? I think I do. I don't think... Does your letter grade for Alcaraz change based upon his Tour Finals performance?
It would have to be really cataclysmic. Like I said, he'd have to lose in
the
round
2.
robin and maybe lose to Sitter 1-3 or something. Okay. And then it really then maybe they both kind of average out to an A+. But I also wanted to add that, this is for both of them, but to a larger extent, Carlos, I feel like this is a year that both of them really started to transcend the sport. I mean, when you have a Brooke Nader claiming that she dated both of them, and then you have Alcaraz shaving his head and going blonde. I feel like Carlos is such a star, and he's really leaning into that now, where he's becoming that one name character. I think that's what's really what I'm going to remember also about this season as we continue to get more and more years of them. They're starting to really step outside, not only just the field, but outside of the sport, and where that takes both of them will also be very interesting to watch for me as a pop culture person.
They're the marquee faces. They're the 2 players everyone will be chasing for, it feels like, at least the next half decade to come. Alcaraz, A+ for me. A++ for David Kane. Now things get interesting.
Bring on the C minuses.
Now we move into a section of this field where, again, standard for each player certainly will matter. Expectations for each player certainly will factor in. Some of these numbers are going to get grim. I'm just warning you. Let's start with the world number